Is it just me, or does that seem to have been a very short growing season? I don't think it was long since that was planted. The outlet from the south tank has been replaced. Haven't got all the plumbing ready yet, but we're currently transferring water from the front tank to the back tank. The other thing that happened to the back tank was that they ground out the cement grout between the tiles and put some other sealant in there, so hopefully that will make it more waterproof also. And the intent is to do that with the front tank once we've got some water into the back tank. When the Solar Power Indonesia guys come, which looks like more likely to be the week of the 20th now, ASAP suggested that they could stay over here because they've got a toilet and a water supply and so forth. So Jubaedah bought a couple more fans, so they're currently just set up temporarily, but we may just rearrange them somewhere on the walls to make it easier for these guys to get a bit of cooling at night. This is a new thing that's come up. When this fence at the front was originally installed, I was thinking, well, that's wrong, that should be on the top of the front porch, not or front veranda, not down on that lower step, but that was apparently what Jubaedah had requested, and now she's decided that no, that was a bad idea, because that gap between the top step and the fence is one that kitties can fall in, and it's a bit of a hazard. So the fence is going to be pulled back onto the top step. In the meantime, we'll have chickens getting in there pooping on it, which is why the fence is there in the first place. But yeah, more money being burnt. But such is life. So you can see that current gap there, which is not ideal. Does mean that this front fence here will be higher than the side fence, but I can live with that. Jubaedah can live with that. And the grandpa rails that were going down the sides there, the handrails, Jubaedah doesn't want those because it looks like the places for geriatrics. Okay. So we'll have the rail along the fence along the top here, and that means we'll have to have this one cut and then attached to the pillar. A bit wobbly at the moment, but once that one's between those two pillars, it'll be fine. And since we have two posts at the base here, and that's tied back to the column there, it'll be stable without having the diagonal of the granny rail. And this side, well, there's two posts either side of the sliding gate, so that'll provide it some stability too. Ah well. Of course, this is a very noisy process, lots of angle grinder noise. I keep saying Bakung's a noisy place. I'm hoping one day it'll be much quieter. Well, we appear to have the fortress wall up at Lizu's house. The pump's running at the moment, but I don't think it's got anything left to do because they connected it up to the front tank and ran the pipe up and over and into the manhole for the back tank. And I think it's probably drained the back tank, drained the front tank at this stage. That'll automatically shut off in half an hour, but I think I might just shut it off now. I do hear water running back down the pipe, but okay. There's Jubaedah down there in the rubbish processing facility. Dadang over and doing farming. So the inside of the pit is currently painted black, as that seems to be a better sealant, and then it'll get painted white over that later, and hopefully that will seal up the water leaks a bit. I'd really prefer not to have those lids open any more than absolutely necessary, but people don't seem to get the idea that I want to keep the mosquitoes out of there. Taking off that fence off that corner and putting it back up on the front porch there is going to give a little bit more room at the corner here for Asra to get around the corner. Well, there's been some more modification to the plumbing for the tanks. The front tank has now had its outlet pipe removed, and water's pouring into it currently because it's currently raining, but that will be running straight at the back end because the dump valve would be open at the moment, because they're still working in there doing the grinding out of the grout and sealing it up with something waterproof, hopefully. Let's see. Yes, it's wet. And I bet the lids are open. Oh, that's the way it is. But yeah, so that's current state of play here. The sides of the pit have had a coat of white over the black now, and you can see it hasn't sealed because we've got the white being washed down into the bottom on that side. That side might be okay. I might have to have another go at that. But I came over here earlier and Asra was in the CTO, had it running, and it was going beep, 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 which is its sort of safety lock message that you need to do something before you can actually drive it away or operate the hydraulics. And all the usual things had been done. So we've got a sensor apparently that's out of kilter, so it can't be moved or operated at the moment. All we can do is run the engine. So I suggested to Asra that he call up Indo-Tara to ask for a bit of technical support. He thought I meant get him to come here, but no, try phone support first. We'll see how we go with that. It's a shame they hadn't finished the plumbing work in the front tank, north tank. This would have been a good opportunity to harvest some rain. But having pumped it all from the front tank to the back tank, I think there's something like 16,000 litres in there, so I'll be okay for a while. One thing we have an issue here is that the lights attract squillions of little bugs which die at night and cover this thing. You can see something in the back of the channel there. I think there's one quite a few on the top here already. So that's basically something you need to do every morning. This is the inside of the window ledge above the fish bin. I vacuumed this 2 days ago. That was dry, the puddle's back. Well, here's something useful I've done. I've got these magnetic locks working now. I put the first one on and it wasn't gripping, so I ordered a second one because I thought I'd buggered up the magnetic stripe. Then I put the second one on, it wasn't gripping either. It turns out that they're very, very fussy. They need to be absolutely flat on, so I found that once I put the washer behind the back of this and tighten it down, that tilted enough that way that that one gripped. And I did the same to this one, and now it's rock solid. So what I've got on the go at the moment is the metal guys are going to put a piece of plate across to the wall behind there, because currently you could reach in there and cut the wires to the magnets, which you don't really want. We still appear to have water coming in from the side of the pit, but it's certainly much reduced, and it doesn't seem to be coming in from the right hand side anymore, but left hand side it's coming in at the two ends, or halfway along the far end. I'm kind of hoping that if they give that a couple more coats, they'll seal it up. There's certainly not a lot coming in. As is always the case with things in Bakung, things rust quickly. So this is the chain for the 1 ton hoist. As in the chain you pull to lift things, as opposed to the lift chain itself. Then both of them are rusting already. 5 ton hoist, not quite so much, and the chain for the cross trolley, that's actually galvanised, so I'm inclined to think I might take measurements of this chain and see whether I can buy 5 metres of galvanised chain to replace that one. That would kind of make sense. I heard the hammer drill going this morning out back here and concluded that was finishing off that slot I'd been cutting across there to redirect the condensate so it goes straight across to the drain rather than dripping down. Technically, we have 2 more there that probably should have the same treatment. Actually 3. This one in the middle of the screen is the condensate pipe for the big AC for the lounge room, which doesn't run all the time. But I probably should get that redirected too, because when I do run that, it rains down over here. Now I've said how Bakung is always noisy. Yeah, it's not just the cooks. It's now that we've decided to move the fence up onto the actual front step, that means less room to put motor scooters up there, and we don't need room up there anymore to do that because we have the shed for storage of those in a secure manner. So we no longer need a ramp there. So we're going to get steps, like the steps at the back with the same tiles. Well, it's Friday, so I need to get some video to finish off my upload for the day. Looks like that back tank is still leaking after being completely redone with that outlet pipe, but that doesn't greatly distress me because it's not very much. Similarly here, there's still a little bit of leakage. And it's not a distressingly large amount given the rainfall we get around here. Both lids are down on the tanks, and I haven't seen any work going on over here on that front tank for the last couple of days, so I don't know whether that means that we're finished inside or not, but they haven't closed the dump though. Any water that comes into the front tank currently is coming straight back out again. And Dadang's been doing some horticulture. I don't know what he's planted in all these plastic grow pots. Looks like chilies, might all be chilies. Good oh. He's got lots of other stuff planted over here. And you can see how fast things grow. That hasn't been there that long. It's just phenomenal how fast things grow around here. And this mix here will be for the front step they're currently constructing. And it's important to recognise that other languages may have similar sounding words, but they have completely different meanings. For example, water in Indonesian is air. That can cause no end of confusion. That one there, yeah, perhaps we'll just brush over that one. And the process has begun. From my point of view, the good part is the reworking of the front fence. I brought all the noisy part of this down to the rice factory to do, so it's not just outside my lounge room window, unlike the jackhammering for the front step that they did the other day. And I did get my plate on the back of the door here, so it goes all the way to the floor. just leaves a little bit of a gap up there, which I'll find something to put in. It's not so much for security anymore as just to keep the mosquitoes out. But you can see now that since the back edge is covered, people can't just get in there and interfere with those wires that go to the magnets, which was a distinct possibility previously if they'd known what they're about. Now what they have to know is that when this is turned on, it's powered off a power point in there, which is on the same circuit as this. So if they go over here and flick the right circuit breaker, the door opens. The way around that would be put a UPS on it, and I may actually do that because I have such things floating around. In fact, I've got 4 UPSs. Currently have one on the door for the lounge room, but I could use one of the others. It's just a matter of it takes up a fair bit of space. So I'll look into that. Well, that's the wrap up for this week. As you can occasionally hear in the background, it's still noisy in my lounge room. They're now cutting tiles for the front doorstep. So, as I said, it's a noisy old place. I really don't know what the status is of that front tank over there. I must see if I can find Asra sometime and ask about that, because I'd like to close that dump valve and start harvesting water from the roof again. And it'd be good if they actually finish the plumbing for the pump. I just have to confirm that he actually understands what I want this time. It's tricky because you think, yeah, I understand, and then you see the result and think, no, they didn't. I got it wrong. So it's on me to make sure that I've communicated successfully and confirm that they understood. Because I've been caught out so many times thinking that they've understood and they haven't really. So it's a failure on my part not doing that confirmation. But yeah, well that's enough for this week. I'll get this edited and put together and upload it. And you'll hear from me next Friday, if not before. Bye.